The psychology of feeling like an outsider is rooted in how the brain processes belonging, identity, and social connection. This feeling is not random. It is linked to specific psychological mechanisms, including early attachment patterns, cognitive biases, and social comparison. To understand why some people consistently feel like they do not belong, we need to look at how these systems interact. One of the most important concepts in psychology is the need to belong. Humans are biologically wired for social connection. Research in social psychology shows that belonging is a fundamental human motivation, not just a preference. When this need is not met, or is perceived as not being met, it activates the same brain regions associated with physical pain. This means that feeling socially excluded is not just emotional. It is processed by the brain as a real form of distress. So, when someone feels like an outsider, they are not overreacting. The brain is responding to a perceived lack of connection. A key factor in this experience is attachment theory. Attachment theory suggests that early relationships with caregivers shape how we relate to others later in life. There are different attachment styles, including secure, anxious, and avoidant. People with insecure attachment styles, especially avoidant or anxious, are more likely to feel disconnected from others. For example, avoidant attachment can lead to emotional distance and difficulty trusting others. Anxious attachment can create fear of rejection and hyper-awareness of social cues. Both patterns can contribute to the feeling of being an outsider, even in social environments. Another important factor is cognitive bias, specifically how the brain interprets social situations. Once someone develops the belief that they do not belong, the brain begins to reinforce it through confirmation bias. This means paying more attention to signs of rejection, ignoring signs of acceptance, and interpreting neutral situations negatively. For example, someone not responding quickly can be seen as rejection. A quiet conversation can be interpreted as exclusion. Over time, this creates a distorted perception of reality. The person is not necessarily excluded, but their brain is filtering experiences in a way that makes it feel that way. People who feel like outsiders often show higher levels of self-monitoring. Self-monitoring is the ability to observe and adjust one's behavior in social situations. High self-monitoring individuals analyze their actions, track how others respond, and adjust their behavior accordingly. While this can be useful, it also increases self-consciousness. This can lead to overthinking, social anxiety, and feeling out of sync with others. In contrast, people with lower self-monitoring tend to feel more naturally integrated in social groups. Another key concept is social comparison theory. Humans naturally compare themselves to others to evaluate their identity and status. When someone consistently compares themselves to people they perceive as more confident, more connected, or more socially successful, it can reinforce feelings of not belonging. The problem is that these comparisons are often based on incomplete information. We see how others appear, not how they feel internally. This creates a mismatch between perceived social success and internal self-evaluation, which strengthens the outsider identity. From a psychoanalytic perspective, Sigmund Freud argued that much of our behavior is influenced by the unconscious mind. Early experiences, especially emotional ones, can shape unconscious beliefs about the self. If someone internalizes the idea that they are different, excluded, or misunderstood, that belief can operate beneath awareness and influence behavior throughout life. Feeling like an outsider is not just a personality trait. It is the result of biological needs, early attachment patterns, cognitive biases, and social comparison. Understanding these mechanisms does not instantly remove the feeling, but it explains why it exists and why it can feel so persistent. And in many cases, the strongest influence comes from something called attachment theory, which shapes how we connect to others from a very early age. In the next video, we are going to explore attachment theory in more depth and how it directly affects the way you experience relationships and belonging.